Ask someone to name ancient civilizations. They will probably say Egypt, Rome, Greece, maybe the Maya. 5 names if they are feeling confident. But that answer hides something strange. There is no official number of civilizations that have ever existed. Not 50, not 500. Not even historians agree on what should count. Because civilization is not a species. It is not a country. It is a label we invented after the fact. And depending on how you define it, the real number could be a few dozen or thousands. The story begins with a deceptively simple question. What is a civilization? For more than a century, archaeologists used a checklist. Cities, centralized government, social classes, specialized workers, monumental buildings, long-distance trade, writing, or record-keeping. Put enough of those together, and historians felt comfortable calling a society a civilization. That gives us the familiar map from school. Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, ancient China, Mesoamerica, the Andes. 6 places where complex societies developed independently. 6 cradles of civilization. But even this neat answer begins to collapse when you look closer. Take writing. For decades, people assumed a civilization needed writing. But the Inca Empire ruled millions of people across the Andes without an alphabetic script. They used knotted cords called quipu to track information. Was that writing? Record keeping? Something else entirely? And if the Inca count, why shouldn't other complex societies with no surviving written documents count too? Then take cities. What size does a settlement need to be before it becomes a city? 5,000 people? 10,000? 50,000? Archaeologists cannot hold up a sign that says, "Congratulations, you are now civilized." Human societies did not suddenly wake up one morning and cross an invisible line. They changed gradually. A village became a town became a regional center developed rulers, specialists, monuments, trade networks, and new forms of inequality. Some societies developed cities but never built empires. Some built empires but left almost no writing. Some had writing, agriculture, and monumental architecture, yet were later absorbed into neighbors so thoroughly that we only know they existed from broken pottery and strange earthworks. So the real answer is not a number, it is a spectrum. At one end are the civilizations everyone knows, the Roman Empire, ancient Egypt, the Han Dynasty, the Maya, the Aztec Empire, the Inca Empire. At the other end are societies most people have never heard of, Norte Chico, also called Corral Supe, on the coast of Peru, a civilization building monumental pyramids roughly 5,000 years ago. The Nok culture in West Africa, known for extraordinary terracotta sculptures and early ironworking. The Olmec cities of Mesoamerica, the Kingdom of Kush along the Nile, south of Egypt. Great Zimbabwe, a stone-built trading center that connected southern Africa to the Indian Ocean world. Cahokia, a massive city near modern-day St. Louis that had tens of thousands of people at its peak. None of these were failed versions of Rome. They were complex societies solving human problems in their own ways. And then there are the civilizations we have not found yet. This is where the number gets really uncomfortable. In 2023, researchers used airborne laser scanning and predictive models to estimate that between 10,272 and 23,648 large pre-Columbian archaeological sites may still be hidden beneath the Amazon rainforest. Think about that. More than 10,000 possible sites in one region, under trees, many baby villages, ceremonial centers, roads, earthworks, or regional capitals. Not all of them will qualify as civilizations under every definition, but every single one could rewrite what we think we know about the people who lived there. For a long time, outsiders imagined the Amazon as untouched wilderness, but new evidence shows vast areas were shaped by indigenous societies, earthworks, raised fields, managed forests, settlements connected by roads. The forest did not erase those societies completely. It just hid them from us, and the Amazon is only one example. Deserts hide settlements beneath sand. Rising seas drowned ancient coastlines. Forests swallow walls. Modern cities sit directly on top of older ones. War destroys archives. Fire burns libraries. Time turns wood, cloth, skin, and language into nothing. The archaeological record is not the past. It is the tiny fraction of the past that survived long enough for us to find it. So when people ask, how many civilizations existed, they usually want a clean number. 6 cradles, 20 great civilizations, 100 lost societies. But history does not work that way. A civilization can be an empire, a network of cities, a trading culture, a river valley society, a kingdom, a group of people whose political name was never recorded anywhere. The number changes depending on whether you count independent origins, empires, regional cultures, city-states, or archaeological traditions. If you count only independent cradles of civilization, the answer is often 6. If you count major historically documented civilizations, the number is in the dozens. If you count every complex, urbanized, state-level society that rose, changed, merged, and disappeared across human history, the number likely reaches into the hundreds. And if you include the societies still buried beneath forests, oceans, deserts, and modern cities, we honestly do not know. Maybe we never will. But that uncertainty reveals something important. Civilization was never a single invention that happened once in Mesopotamia and then spread outward like a light bulb turning on. Humans kept building complex societies, again and again, in different climates, using different crops, speaking different languages, keeping records in different ways. Some used clay tablets, some carved stone, some tied knots. Some may have preserved knowledge in materials that rotted away thousands of years ago. The civilizations we remember are not necessarily the most important. They are often the ones that left stone buildings, durable writing, or descendants powerful enough to preserve their stories. The ones we forgot may have been just as sophisticated. They simply left evidence that was easier for time to destroy. So the next time someone says there were only a few ancient civilizations, remember this. That is not a fact. It is a list of the ones we were lucky enough to find. The real history of civilization is not a museum shelf with 6 objects on it. It is an ocean floor. Most of it is still underwater.